And this is GTFO Live. We are members of the Golden Triangle Freethinkers Organization.
Not so live.
Not so live.
Not
Okay.
so live?
Not so live? Okay, well.
Sort of dead.
Whatever you want to call it.
It's Halloween.
Yeah, so we can be dead. Or undead.
I heard a little something in the background there.
Did you?
Yeah, it
What was
sounded
it?
like,
Pissed off Christian.
That really is scary.
they are pretty
Freaking me
scary.
out! We are members of the Golden Triangle Freethinkers Organization. I'm Jerry Mandarin. That is Will Messier. And the other hooded individual would be Vic Demented. And hello.
This is the all Unabomber edition.
Apparently.
Except I didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
So, thanks, guys.
You're not going to go bombing anything today. Well, we've been on a little hiatus, I would say, depending on it's relative, short or long.
I came back from Amsterdam, so I was on a little high.
Hiatus. And, I don't know, I've been working. Will, what have you been doing?
A lot of astronomy,
Okay.
you know, the good stuff. Vacation.
See, you really have no good excuse.
No, absolutely not. A lot of porn.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's a good excuse, actually. So what we're going to talk about today, while we were gone, the judge in Hardin County, Judge Thomas, issued his a temporary injunction against the Koontz Independent School District, thus allowing the cheerleaders to put the Bible verses on their ever-loving run-through banners that the football team doesn't see because they're running through them from behind.
And tearing scripture asunder.
Actually, from what I understand, the Koontz football players do a lot of running in from behind.
Okay, well, that's how rumor works.
Yes. It starts off with facts.
It's
all rooted
where there's
in
smoke,
truth.
there's fire. But we just made that shit up.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Maybe we made that shit up. I don't know. Maybe it's valid too. You never can tell.
But if God be for them, who can be against them? These cheerleaders.
Me?
And the other team.
Well,
Right. So, yeah, exactly. But to which, by the way, since this has happened, they've still been putting their Bible verse on their banners, and they've been beaten mercilessly like 3 times now.
I think they lost 45-0 or something.
I know
that may be an
I know
exaggeration.
Newton, who, by the way, also put Bible verses on their banners that same week they played them, beat the crap out of them.
well, it was
yeah.
not the banners at all that had anything to do with it. I mean, you guys would be surprised to hear this.
No, I was
had
under the
nothing
impression that. Yeah, go ahead.
You believed it wasn't the banners?
No, I believe it. No, I think it was the banners. God was just picking his favorite team.
No, it had nothing to do with it. It's absolutely ridiculous. I had prayed to the Lord Mighty Satan.
Oh, okay.
That they would lose, and they did.
So what are you going to do? Okay, wait. Now,
He is.
Lord Mighty Satan.
That's how you must call him.
That's what I do.
I call him Dave. Actually, his name's Dave, and I don't know.
Lord Mighty
He and I are a little more
Dave.
personal than the rest of you guys, I guess.
But he answered my prayer.
Mm-hmm.
I prayed that Newton would just totally slaughter Koontz, and he answered my prayer. I mean, I used to not believe in Satan. Now I don't know. I've got to rethink everything.
That's
now.
true. I mean, you did have that prayer answered, so the whole thing is.
You don't understand my experience. My experience with Satan is a personal one.
You bothered to pray for something that could have legitimately happened
Right.
by the laws of the universe.
What? No. Koontz lose a football game when they have biblical prayers on their banners?
This is true.
No way.
Good point. But
way.
it's still it's possible that it could have happened by the laws of nature. That Koontz could have lost, and that thing was answered for you. So therefore, whatever you prayed to is real.
Yes.
I like your logic. I like your logic.
Yes.
So if you had,
I felt his presence
yeah,
inside me.
yeah.
Deep.
Wow.
Where it's good.
And here's one guy to talk about the Koontz football players. All right. Well, but
It's from experience.
Oh, Lord.
so if you had prayed for the impossible and it had been achieved by this deity,
Uh-huh. Like what? Give me something.
I always ask to like turn a random object into something mystical and magical, like turn a microwave into a gold-plated Pegasus,
Okay.
an actual flying, living Pegasus that's gold-plated.
Oh.
And it hadn't happened yet. But I'm not probably the right guy.
I just never needed a living flying gold Pegasus.
I know, but it would be so cool, wouldn't it not?
But I have needed a microwave before.
Okay.
So
Well, microwaves already exist in the known universe, dude. You can go buy one.
you're saying not to pray to Satan to turn a golden pink or golden flying living unicorn into a microwave. I could just go buy one.
Yeah. You could. I mean, those
So
are-
prayer is useless.
It'd probably be cheaper. He'd probably make you give him your soul.
He already
Right.
owns his soul by what we've
I
established.
gave it away.
Yeah.
I gave it away so the
You
Coons
sold it
would,
off. Yeah.
so the Coons would lose.
I sold mine in a yard sale years ago. So, it was,
Hey, they're selling virgins now.
Oh, yeah?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
For a bargain too of only $780,000.
What for? What? Huh? No.
Well, it depends.
Clarify.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
One
yeah,
was-
it
one
depends.
was $3,000.
Yeah, but that was a guy. That was the dude.
You know, that's whoever that person is got to feel like shit.
Hey, whatever. He got paid to get paid.
Fucking 3,000. How much did you get for your virginity?
I didn't
Absolutely
get shit.
squat.
Yeah. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, man, that
But
dude
still,
got paid.
if you know that somebody else is like $200 and some odd $1,000,
$780,000.
$780,000. Okay, even worse. And
but that
your
was a
virginity
chick.
is only worth $3,000.
That was a Brazilian chick.
Okay, so clarify
And they're known
what
for
you're
their-
talking about.
their
I have
bootyliciousness.
no idea what you're talking about.
Well, there was a girl from Brazil, and through a website, she sold her virginity for the evening.
Oh.
And a guy, obviously a rich businessman in Japan,
She sold her
outbid everyone else.
She sold her virginity for an evening. You
Yes.
can't do that for
A few
one
hours.
evening.
A few
I
hours.
mean, you have to. Your virginity's just gone.
Right,
after
well-
that. You know,
Well,
it's not for an
she
evening.
sold her first time to bang a dude
Uh-huh.
to a guy for $780,000.
Interesting.
Like a bargain. That's like I said, a bargain. I mean,
Now, do you find that immoral?
Do I find it immoral?
it's hers to sell.
Not particularly. No,
I don't either.
It's hers to
It's,
sell.
you know.
It's if I wanted to sell,
I
my
wouldn't have
virginity,
done that.
you know.
But I mean, I don't.
You
find
wouldn't have done it?
I probably wouldn't have done that.
I would have
But
done it in a
would you?
fucking
Really?
heartbeat.
Really? Okay.
If I would have thought I could have pulled almost the cool million down for one night of sex, I don't give a shit who it was with.
Yep.
I mean, $1 million?
And he had to use a condom
Yeah.
and all this stuff.
Okay.
I
Donald Trump.
Probably.
Yeah.
Shit, for $1 million bucks?
Yeah.
For $1 million?
Hey, Colbert has got his little wager out there for him, right? He gets to dip his balls in his mouth for $1 million.
For $1 million.
So
Would you
somebody's beating
you-
you.
No later
Would you
than
take?
5
Would you
p.m.
take? Would you take
October
Colbert's? Would you take Colbert's sack
For $1 million?
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, dude. Come on.
Hey, let me think about
Seriously.
this. If the $1 million were on a table in front of me, and said,
Man.
you can't
Yeah,
have it, until you
that's-
do it.
yeah.
The thought processes would probably be much different than they are right this second.
Right, right.
My initial instinct would go, no, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, exactly. I don't know until I'm in
That's
that
not
scenario.
necessarily enough
what
to
is it?
retire on, though.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's. I mean,
It does. If I can retire, I mean, let's talk about this. you
no,
know?
even if you don't retire, I mean, that's still $1 million ahead on
Literally.
That's $1 million. You're $1 million, and I don't care. You guys would take it in a second. You wouldn't even.
I'm just saying, I don't know. I cannot absolutely say for sure what I would do until
I'm
being honest here.
I am so comfortable in my own sexuality that another man's balls in my mouth for $1 million would not fucking hinder me one bit for the rest of my life.
It's not so much comfortable about the sexuality part. It's about the gag reflex. You know,
I didn't say you didn't have to gag. You didn't have to act like you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
You just have to take the balls.
well,
No, you
still.
can't wince.
It's like somebody offering
Don't
you a
wince.
gallon of bile to drink it for $1 million.
I do it.
You do it.
I do it.
Okay.
I do
See,
it.
I would have trouble with that.
I would throw my ass. I'd be fucking.
It goes along those lines, though.
But it would be over with, and I'd have the $1 million.
Yeah, that's true.
You got a good
man.
point there.
That's a lot of dough.
Like I said, though, I would have to assess the situation as
You guys are sitting there laughing your ass off, and then whenever I'm done, I'm wiping my mouth. I'm going,
yeah,
it's over. Yeah, $1 million. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go on vacation. I'll see you guys in a year.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be one hell of a vacation.
Basically. So this Kuntz thing.
Yeah. Back on topic.
But so we had a restraining order put against
the district. The district had a restraining order against it. Now that the judge heard the case, now that restraining order is a temporary injunction.
Temporary injunction.
It's good. It's valid through next June,
which is a really long temporary
time.
9 months. What is that?
Something like that. So I would think, from what I understand, freedom from
which doesn't really matter because all I had to do was put it through the end of the football season and would effectively done the same thing.
Plus now they have the availability to do it during basketball season, during baseball season.
Yeah, fuck. Who watches Kuntz basketball?
I agree, but point being, Freedom from Religion Foundation is looking for plaintiffs.
Yes.
From the Kuntz ISD.
And what do you think the chances that they're going to find one of those is?
I don't think they're great, but I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Hey, Will, do you have like an iPhone charger or something I can use?
I don't. No. I'm sorry.
Bastard.
I do apologize for nothing.
You look torture. All right, thank you.
But yeah, if these kids get to effectively post these signs until just before they start, going back to getting back to school, doing football season again. And football season starts in late August, I think, or early August.
Something like that, yeah.
And so they're going to get to do these signs all through this football season. True. And then basically right before the next one, they're just going to, I guess, be back to being banned again. Because the trial date is actually, June or July 20th or 26th.
It's June for sure.
June something. And so at this particular hearing, the judge is basically going to have to make a ruling. He's put it off too many times. Well, as many as he can.
Yeah.
Right. Through the law, and now he's going to have to reach a decision in 2013. What do you think the decision will be?
Well, I'm not exactly sure he has to make the decision. I don't think it's clear yet if it's going to be a jury trial or if it's going to be up to the judge.
Mm-hmm. Since there's precedent, does that have any? Does that have any?
You would think that would have some bearing. It should have had some bearing on this,
right?
I don't think it will.
Yeah,
it should, but I don't think it will. I think the guy's going to vote. He's going to rule in his own best interest. He's not going to rule according to law. He's already shown he's not going to. It should have been shut down day fucking one.
Yep.
And that be that. And then tell these girls to grow up. That's what he should have done. Mm-hmm. But no, he didn't. He didn't do that because he wanted to save his own skin, and he didn't do it because he bowed to the governor and the attorney general, who also don't give a shit about the rule of law.
Well, you also have to figure in that he also bowed to the electorate.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The millions, the millions of 2,000 people.
Yeah, yeah, but they're still the ones that get him elected.
Yeah, I know, but this is it should have been moved out of that court. It should have been removed out of there.
Moved out of that court.
Yep. I mean,
it should have been in federal court from the beginning. And it never actually should have been in court because the district did the right thing.
Exactly, but the kids and through the kids' parents are the ones bringing this to court. It's not the fact that we and the FFRF are saying you can't do. We are saying you can't do this, but we're not.
Can the district? I know they won't, but can the district file a case against the judge's ruling to say, hey, you're forcing us to violate law?
Yeah.
I don't know. They can probably file a protest saying that everything that happens now is out of our hands legally. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
But it's not.
Well, probably not. But they could probably file a protest saying that, it's not our fault. Whoever's going to sue us for allowing religious banners to be displayed at public school, it's not our fault. We tried to stop it.
I'd be interested in knowing if it is their fault, though. Even if a judge says they can't, a state judge.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are they still liable?
I think that would be shitty. if it was their fault, if they're still liable for it. I personally do, because
Well,
they did try shutting it down.
But I don't think it is. I think that they should have to fight. That if this was my right,
Right.
if I was being court ordered to violate, by a local court to violate federal law, and I know that this is getting attention, then I would fight. I would file a case in federal law to say, or in federal court, say, hey,
Yeah.
I don't know help protect me here.
I don't know to what extent they can do that.
I would think they would have that right as the district, but again, the guy said he got bad legal advice when he knew it was good legal advice to ban the banners. Now he's turned his back on his representation because he wants to save his own ass too. He wants to save his job, and he knows that if he does that, literally the people of Kuntz will vote him in or vote him out because he is. That is how
he's hired. He's hired by the school board,
right?
So he's not an elected official.
But the board is elected.
The
board is elected, and they choose.
But remember, the board chose to fight this as well. Mm-hmm. The board,
because they know what the right answer for this is.
Well, every lawyer that they talk to tells them you shouldn't allow this because it's illegal.
Well,
and you're going to get your ass in a sling for it if you keep allowing these kids to do it. Now, it also goes to show you that for the amount of time that they did allow this to happen, they're in the wrong there. That there's something to be said for that because they should have known immediately.
The principal knew.
Yeah.
He knew he was in shit whenever the FFRF sent him the letter.
You mean the superintendent?
Oh, yeah, the superintendent. He knew that it was being done. The principals definitely knew. I would have been, if I was superintendent, I would have said, you have some explaining.
But ignorance of the law also is no excuse. And
I know.
As a school official, you should be aware that these things are not legal.
What about his apparent lie on the stand?
Which was?
He said that the banners are allowed by school policy. That by banning them, they told him to violate school policy.
Violate free speech. And that is why that injunction is. That's a good point, because that is why the injunction was put up in the first place, was because they have to be able to figure out if they are limiting free speech. And
but their school policy says clearly. Well, when I looked it up, it said that all banners, all posters, and everything must be approved by the principal prior to being displayed.
Right.
So that says there's editorial control on behalf of the school
by the school policy.
By the school policy. And so why did he say? Right. So why did he say that by banning them, they forced him to violate school policy? Because it's absolutely in line with
I didn't
school
recall
policy.
him saying that, but
yeah, it was part of his testimony.
That's interesting. I wouldn't know why he said that.
Wow.
Then he wasn't aware of what school policy is.
Whenever we had somebody tweeting from the courtroom that reported that he said that, and I went and looked up the policy, and it at least in the school handbook for Kuntz, it says that all banners and posters must be approved by the principal, by a member of the faculty.
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't even matter if they had made the posters
Which, by the way, they were approved. That's why it was within policy.
They were approved.
Because they were approved by the sponsor, who says they were not representing the school at all.
Well, by the way, too, they
completely lied about everything.
One of the funny things that cracked me up, it was they said that they didn't do these at school. These were totally done on their own time.
Even though there's a picture that shows them doing it in
one of the local TV
Yes.
stations showed them
Yes.
making these banners at school.
Yes.
But the
Another
first
lie.
one wasn't, right?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if they're making them.
You're right, and they're total liars.
These are all perjury. They perjured themselves in court. Yes.
And somebody should countersue. I don't know who it has to be, but I would think it could be a Texan could countersue these families.
Yeah, again, this is all,
don't know anything
legal
about
mumbo jumbo. I don't know to what extent they
We need a lawyer to Skype in.
We do need a lawyer to Skype in.
If you're a lawyer,
my
Skype
understanding
in,
is
please.
with the temporary injunction.
GTFO Tx is the
GTFO Tx. Skype name.
My understanding, they can't, as a temporary injunction is not really a decision per se. It's still waiting on the case to go to trial.
It's a really nice way of talking about procrastination.
Pretty much,
basically.
Yeah. So
an interesting
I
word.
don't know if countersuit would be a thing right now.
Right.
Because of that.
Because they haven't made a decision, I guess. So once it's ruled on, though, the judge...
Then yeah, you
But
can
the
go.
judge could
But
bring up
at any
those charges.
At any point, like I said, the judge... What's the judge could do what?
Bring up the charges of perjury, with the lying and all of the stuff that the girls did on the stand.
Yeah.
They were on the stand, and they were under oath.
I'm not sure who has to make the accusation of perjury, but probably the...
I'm making one right now.
Yeah, I mean...
I meant to the judge to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure somebody would have to have legal representation to do that. Right. But I would think the judge, even though he won't, the judge could say, whoa, this... you're guilty of perjury. These facts don't line up with what you originally said, and now what you're testifying.
Well, they
now.
attempted to argue too. They attempted to frame the case that nothing the cheerleaders do has any association with the school whatsoever. That they're completely, as if they're an independent group from the school who just happen to have these uniforms and show up at a football game every week. Really, they're just a separate independent organization.
I liked the person that said, did you hear this story about? I don't remember what the deal was. I think it was in Connecticut or something like that. But Trojan was handing out free vibrators.
Okay.
Something like that, and there was some big deal about that. I think it was in Connecticut. I don't know. Anyway, and somebody on the Concerned East Texans had stated, "Hey, someone should get a hold of Trojan and say, don't worry about Connecticut. Come down to Texas to football games in Texas, at least in Coons, and hand out free vibrators right there on the field."
Yeah.
Don't worry about the fact that because anything is free speech now. Free speech can be said anywhere on the field.
On the field, as long as it's not by the school.
As long as it's not by the school, and if you're not associated with the school, don't worry about it because as long as you're not, you're protected even more if you're not associated.
And
with
that's
the school.
another good question.
You can go down on the field and do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's another good question to ask. Who's giving this independent group that dresses up in cheerleader uniforms and shows up for every game? Who's giving them field access?
Well, apparently we could go out there and do whatever we want.
Anybody,
we could put a big pentagram and say "Hail Satan" and have the football players run through it. As long as ours was bigger in front of theirs.
We're also an independent group, not associated with the school.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And we can go down there anywhere.
And they are all
security can't say shit.
They are all for our rights to do that, right? Because they say that. Well, nobody wants to hang a Muslim banner, so we don't have to run through Muslim banners.
Well, and we're not. And they can't say, "Well, wait a second. This is not. You guys aren't associated with the school at all." Neither are they.
Yeah.
Those girls are not associated with the school.
They said that.
They are not a mouthpiece of the school. That's right. That's what.
We're not even associated at all. They're completely independent.
Neither are we. So we get the same rights in equal time.
That's right.
Well, we need to start making banners.
Yeah, we absolutely should.
And bulletproof vests.
Sarah 9.5.
And we haven't even addressed the issue of the number of schools that are still currently praying over the intercom.
And just
at their football
they
games.
just don't care. The laws of this nation do not apply to Christians. They simply do not apply to them. And it's okay to shit on whoever you want to as long as you're Christian.
And yet God commands them to obey the laws of the land.
But apparently God didn't, according to them. God just says shit on everybody you want to. You're Christian. Sure. I have favoritism over you.
That's their delusion that they're under.
You're blessed.
Well, it's not the only one.
Well, sure, but biblically, they are supposed to be obeying the laws of the land. And since this particular, let's just use this as an example of the banners, since it's already been ruled on, they know what the law is. They are willfully breaking the law, which means they are
lying
sinning.
About it. Lying about it,
which is another sin.
Which they're breaking it.
And they're breaking another law, perjury, another sin. They're going to have a lot to answer for when they die and go to heaven, right?
They're not going to heaven.
No.
They don't believe in heaven. They don't. They possibly believe in hell. They fear hell more than they believe in heaven.
And that's the main reason why most people are Christians. Because they fear eternal damnation, but they live their lives as if there were no God.
That's right.
Except for on Sundays. And then maybe a couple hours they pretend like he's there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I'll call. I mean, is he on? Is he on there?
Who?
Brandon, our favorite Christian.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything from old Brandon.
Because I'll say he's living his life as if there's no God too.
Yeah.
I know I'm living my life as if there's no God.
Yeah, well, yes.
I've always lived my life that way.
I think we all have, and then there are moments where we do not want to admit that. Well, Christians, for instance, and say, no, well, I try to be a good person, but I do sin and I do fall, but I get back up and the Lord forgives me. And that's what Christianity is based on. It's the most lackluster religion on the planet because you can just sin willfully and then be like, oh, well, please forgive me. And
I sin.
Yes,
I sin like I'm Will all the time.
Yes, yeah. God forgives me. God loves me. He forgives me. And sorry, Ethiopian infant. Yeah.
How do you do it?
You live the whole 10 days before you die to starvation.
Oh,
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
God said no to you, little kid.
God doesn't care for you so much. Me, I'm great.
Yeah.
God loves me. You're pretty awful, apparently, because God hates you.
I had a friend on my Facebook thank God for the falling gas prices because his commute was getting expensive.
Commute. Okay, yeah, you're right. So God affected.
That must be a pain in the ass.
God affected oil markets worldwide
For
his commute. That's pretty sweet of God.
Self-centeredness of Christians.
That's
yet
pretty
again.
sweet of God to do that.
They'll say we are the arrogant ones.
Right.
We are the arrogant ones. We not those that believe that the creator of the universe is taking such an interest in the cost of their commute that it dropped the price of gas a few pennies.
So yeah, Steve's asking me for lower gas prices. All right, let's affect production worldwide.
Yeah,
and from internationally, from country to country, Saudi Arabia. Let's go there and increase production, and that way Steve will have an easier commute to work.
The Lord does control the refineries.
Right
now. It doesn't explain how the gas prices eventually go back up again.
Well, God has a
short-term memory.
No, God.
I didn't realize that you wanted me to keep him down for good.
Look, God's a fickle guy.
I thought you just
we get that from the Bible.
Next few days.
We get that God's a fickle guy from the Bible. So I don't think what we're expecting too much. I think is what the problem is.
What do you mean the high gas prices suck? I thought you people like this shit.
So if we're going to hear in June what the decision will be, and
I think this has to go to federal court.
Weigh in, Jerry. What do you think the decision will be when the judge's time has run out?
I personally don't think we're gonna see any different result. But
so you think
I think he'll make the injunction permanent. So it'll be. Just like we're just where we are now. It has to go to federal court.
Mm-hmm. Will it then go to the Supreme Court? I mean,
no, I don't think it would. I don't know where it would go from there. I think that a separate lawsuit needs to be filed in federal court.
I wonder
if FFRF is going the right path on that.
Now there was a Muslim mayor, right?
Yeah, there's one in the United States,
and I understand that his granddaughter was one of the. She's a Christian.
Yep,
and she was the one named in the suit.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if any of the other Muslims out there realize that they have an apostate living in Kuntz.
Surah 9:5.
What does it say?
It just says to make people believe in Allah. If they don't, cut their head off.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple, and there's no cherry picking there. It's not out of context. It stands alone. Cut their heads off.
Religion's a glorious thing, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
Well, what's the meme? Religion flies you into buildings. Science flies you to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said it backwards, so it kind of ruins the whole thing. But you get it.
Either way,
we've all seen it. It's a good meme. It's spot on.
So whether you're cutting people's heads off or shitting all over their rights to, shitting all over the separation of church and state,
the laws of the land which your Lord commanded you to follow.
Pissed off Christian.
Right.
And then they get mad. And then they cry victim because that's their best quality. As a cult, their best quality is to cry victim when it comes time. And they're damn good at it.
Yeah.
And but it's ingrained in them.
We talked about that before. I mean, they really are being attacked. Mm-hmm. They're being attacked daily.
In mass.
By reality and by science and by discovery. Their views are on the decline, and just every year, fewer and fewer people believe that bullshit, which is great.
It is great. We're up to 20% of the people now who claim no religious affiliation, which doesn't mean they're not religious. They're just not religious by their own standards.
Right.
Some of them. I mean, but I think a big chunk of that is agnostic atheist.
Yeah, agnosticism seems like it's becoming more prevalent, and I meet more and more agnostics every day. And my question for them is, why is God the default position to imagine that this, well, I'm not sure if God exists or may not exist, but you have no evidence that God exists
Well, that's
at all.
the thing.
It's a false equivalency.
It is
You
false.
could even say that
the
it's
God,
50-50.
the God thing has never been established. People don't quite realize
Not one
that
time.
God
Exactly.
has never been established.
So why
And-
even imagine that there is a teapot orbiting between Mars and Jupiter? If it's not detectable in any way, then you don't have to be agnostic about that thing. You can just believe that it's not there,
Or
and
just not
you're going to be
believe that it's
fine.
there.
Or yeah, exactly. I mean,
Or just refuse to just refuse to answer the question until evidence is presented.
yeah. But if it's not detectable, you're never going to detect the thing. So you're just
Well, it is
hearing-
detectable. Technically, it is.
Well, in the teapot theory, it's not.
Why isn't it?
Because that's part of the thing. It's undetectable by any instrument humans can devise, but because this one guy says there is a teapot orbiting between Mars and Jupiter, that you should all believe him. He has no supporting evidence, and you can't debunk him. So you should just believe him. And this is the same argument that goes for the God argument. Just because one person says it's true and you have no counter evidence to say it's not true, just believe it. But then, obviously,
I just
logic-
reject it. I just
Right.
reject it. It's
Right.
not that I believe it or don't believe it. It's that I just reject it until it's worthwhile.
Well, logic steps in and tells you
It's like
What? You
It's
know?
like flying saucers. It's like alien spacecraft. It's possible that it's happening, but until there's evidence to support that,
I reject
it's just
any and
not-
all
I just
claims
reject
until there's
it,
evidence. Yeah.
and then grainy videos don't count.
No.
No.
In fact, all the if you want to go through the Bigfoot stuff, all of that has been confirmed
don't.
hoaxes.
Yeah.
I don't
And
at
ghosts.
all. Ghosts?
Ghosts are hilarious.
Ghosts are hilarious.
And
I don't mean
so-
actual ghosts are
especially-
just funny people.
I love
Funny dead
our
people.
local ghost hunters, by the way, here in Southeast
Yes.
Texas. They do not want to
On a good
debate either.
Halloween
They will
topic.
block you
Yes.
from their website.
By the
if
way,
you try to debate
before we
them.
get too far off topic, I wanted to point out that for those of you listening who didn't know that, Will's analogy just a second ago is Russell's teapot. Look that up.
Yes.
Anyway,
Google
Google that and look up the entry on it. Anyway, going back to Ghost, yeah. Ghosts are hilarious. Every ghost I've ever met.
since
I
college,
saw it.
just,
Ghostbusters was an awesome movie.
Side splitter.
Well, yeah, the Stay
Mm-hmm.
Puft Marshmallow Man. I mean, free
I was
s'mores for
more.
everyone.
I like the keymaster and the gatekeeper or whatever.
There is no data, only Zool.
Vladimir,
Yes.
Vlad, or
Only Zur.
Azul. Yes. Sigourney Weaver was good in that movie.
Oh,
Yeah, but point being, Ghost. Yeah, if Ghost were a thing, they would have been detailed, studied in detail. Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Or be detectable in any way.
by physicists a long time ago.
Yeah.
Don't give me this. Well, they're undetectable by current scientific methods, so they can't. Don't give me that BS. No, it is something that's been around for so long. People have believed in ghosts for so long. They would have been adequately and thoroughly studied by now if such a thing existed. But since no evidence can be found for their existence, no verifiable evidence anyway,
Well-
then they probably aren't there.
Well, and ghosts have been researched in huge volumes,
Right.
by these paranormal societies.
researchers, yeah.
The Graveyard Shift Paranormal Society is the local one here in Southeast Texas, and when I questioned them about what evidence they had, one of the members just said, "Well, we have a lot of EVPs and we have a lot of EMF detections."
EMF?
EMF, and I said, "So
You're
why?"
unbelievable.
No! What the fuck?
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, But no, these guys.
I wish we had that queued up on the music.
Yeah. But these guys, they go out to these houses and they're detecting cold spots in the house, and that's supposed to denote a loss of energy in the room creates a ghost presence, or it reflects a ghost presence. EMF, which is electromagnetic frequency,
isn't just entropy.
Well, it could be anything. It could be moving air currents through the home, which are obvious if you have an AC. And my suggestion to these guys was turn off the electricity to the house and then go study EMFs in the house.
Yeah.
If you get next to a GTFO outlet, you're going to get a higher EMF rating than if you're standing in the middle of the room. And these guys walk around the room and they get these EMF readings while they're getting these electronic voice phenomena on tape recorders, which, and I forget the name of the effect, but where you see faces in clouds and you hear voices when it's just the wind. It's a type of phenomenon.
It's your brain trying to put
phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
It's a filling in the gaps, right? Your brain is filling in the gaps.
Your brain's just pretty much filling in the gaps, trying to put familiar imagery into something that it can't understand, simply so you don't go freaking insane.
Right, because there'd be a huge loss of information. What do we got here?
This goes out to Ryan. All right, there we go.
What tools does a ghost hunter use to go detect these things? I
don't know. I want that little thing that goes.
Yeah, with the little, it spins around real fast. Yeah,
hell with that. I want a proton pack.
Yeah, well, yeah. I want the thing that you slide.
I don't want to even be near you when you have a proton.
That's fine.
I want the little thing that you slide underneath the ghost and you hit the foot pedal. I remember when I was a kid. The trap. When I was a kid, they had the Ghostbuster toys, and I wanted that so bad.
But your parents didn't get it for you.
They could. I guess they couldn't afford it. It was like $50, and it was it's a plastic thing.
Hello.
And it's a stupid little toy. But it was so cool, because this is what you trap the ghosts in, and then
I'm surprised your parents would even consider that.
Well, that's probably why I didn't get it. Yeah, because it was
had demonic connotations to it. Yeah.
Pareidolia.
Who?
Stu.
Pareidolia was where you see faces.
Yeah, but can that also be applied to audio hallucinations?
Audible.
No, that would be
EVP.
No.
No.
Apophenia.
Ah, yes.
Where you see pattern recognition in random data.
Yeah, Pareidolia. I don't know what the hell. I don't know how.
Perry Mason.
Periwinkles.
Periwinkles.
And our buddy Stu is out there providing some links for us and.
Good.
Apophenia, I think.
That's the auditory version of it.
No, it's not auditory. It's anything. It's anything you see. Like if you see like a turtle in the clouds, that's your ability to recognize patterns in random data. Pareidolia is seeing faces, things that look like faces. You see two circles and a straight line that looks like a face.
I got you. Yeah, and we got those links now posted up. So these guys, they go into homes, local haunted places, and otherwise, I think most of the guys in this group are very respected people in their fields and things, and they're intelligent people, but they have this inherent desire to find ghosts.
Guys, let me just point this out to you.
Prepared to make a full report. These men are consummate snowball artists. They use sense and nerve gases to induce hallucinations. People think they're seeing ghosts. And they call these bozos who conveniently show up to deal with the problem with the fake electronic light show.
Everything was fine with our system until the power grid was shut off by Dickless here.
They caused an explosion. Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
At least those Ghostbusters were cool, man. Yeah. Witty lines. And quick on their feet.
Yeah, guys, I was going to point out the fact that conventional science hasn't picked up on this should probably be a red flag for you.
Absolutely.
Not to say that that's the nail in the coffin.
Nope.
But the fact that at this point, after
thousands of
years of ghost phenomena, the fact that conventional science is kind of ignoring it when you bring it up is probably a red flag.
Well, and why is science ignoring it?
Because of the credibility issue with it.
And there's no evidence.
There's no evidence.
If
you bring concrete, verifiable evidence to a scientist and say, here, I got something that says that ghosts exist, they would probably light up. I can't imagine most physicists ignoring that.
It would revolutionize
because
a lot of things.
It would revolutionize the laws of physics, the laws of thermodynamics.
Yeah. And it would help us as humans to understand, the
first it would tell if ghosts were real and science could prove that they were real and that it would revolutionize thermodynamics, it would actually mean it would prove scientifically that the universe is not doomed.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Is not doomed, and
that
so science would really want to know that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If they could show that.
And then,
whoa, that was loud.
That was.
So until then,
Phenomena.
So see if I can enjoy this.
Yeah,
they look like those things on Mario Brothers. Those things that shoot the eggs at you. Those things. Our viewers can't really see this, so it's really not fair to them.
But anyway, so with this music, let's take this to the election.
Yeah, sure.
So
I voted, by the way.
Did you?
I've already voted.
Already voted.
Who'd you vote for, Will?
I voted straight Republican, baby.
I figured you would. What about you, Jerry?
Libertarian.
I voted green, green all the way. Yeah. So
I did vote for the green when they were on the ballot. Absolutely.
I actually voted for a green person. He had a skin condition. And he was leprosy. Green. I don't know. Doctors are looking into it, but yeah, I hope he wins. I mean,
it was kind of a Make-A-Wish thing. He wanted
wanted to run for office before this green skin condition killed him. So yeah, here's looking at you, buddy.
That's a fantastic song. It's so deep.
Okay, that's enough of that. Yeah, election. Yeah, I'm totally bullshitting you. I voted for as many Democrats as I possibly could.
I actually, this may sound stupid, but instead of voting the straight Democrat ticket, I voted for each person explicitly.
Me too.
Which was straight Democrats ticket,
right.
except for Green Party when there wasn't a Democrat running, and everybody else I didn't vote. I should have probably voted against the incumbent, but I was just like, fuck it.
Anytime there was a Republican on the ballot, I voted the opposite, even if it was a libertarian.
If there was myself to do that. I couldn't do that. Well, when it came to State Board of Education, I couldn't vote for the Libertarian, but I certainly as hell could not vote for David Bradley. So
right, there was a lot of people
couldn't do that.
Like that I didn't vote for at all because they were the only person running. They're going to win anyway. What's the point of even casting a vote in their direction?
Right, but I wanted to vote explicitly because I wanted it, even if it was just a symbolic gesture, to say this is not. I wasn't voting by these people accidentally.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I'm casting my vote for Barack Obama. Just straight up. I'm clicking this. It's a conscious choice.
And there has been some controversy about these voting machines, and I don't know if it's all hearsay, but I'm hearing it one way or the other that if you vote straight Republican, some of these people supposedly went in there and their ballot said Barack Obama, and then I hear from the other side, from if you vote straight Democrat and you go in there and magically your vote is changed to Mitt Romney. So
let's hope both of them are true.
Even to avoid all of that, right? Texas is about to be a blue state. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to suck for the national election, but at least in Texas, we're going to be solidly blue.
Oh, absolutely. That would be a fantastic day. But
which that day is coming. Actually, I did.
Oh, absolutely.
I
think the blueness of Texas is starting to show through, but it's centered mostly around the big cities. I'm guessing.
Yeah, but
Austin, Houston. Most of those are
large part in as a result of the growing Hispanic population. And the problem with that is that, about saying that it's going to be blue, is that the Hispanic vote is a very fluid vote.
Yes, it is.
It went solidly for Bush and only started to go Democrat whenever they took the turn on immigration. Mm-hmm. Why do you think? Do you think Rick Perry was for giving allowing
the Dream Act?
The Dream Act. He was for allowing illegal, undocumented aliens here and allowing them to go to school. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's because Rick Perry developed a soul when it comes to Hispanics that he doesn't have for anybody else, or is it because he recognized the state that he's in and the demographics?
Flopper too, right? I mean, he was Democrat at one point, was he not?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, so he's just another Mitt Romney. They can't decide where they stand on an issue. They stand where the voters are.
They stand where they can get elected.
They stand where they can get elected, and that's all they do. And that's all they care about. And then when they get in office, they just push their agenda forward anyway.
Now, would you say that's all politicians?
I don't.
I couldn't make a sweeping generalization say it's all politicians.
Would you say Barack Obama is the same?
Man, I would say he's
to some
close.
degree. Yeah, to some degree.
In what way? I would say the opposite.
I would say he kind of he started to actually fold a little bit on "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" when he first got elected. He pushed that back as far as he could. Now, granted, the economy was pretty much the hot topic of the day.
But he was elected on that, right? He was elected on his platform.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So conventional wisdom would tell you that if that's what got you elected, then that's what you stay with.
Yeah.
I mean, if he moved at all, why would it be because? Why would you think it's because of popular opinion?
I can tell you one area where Barack Obama has failed is. But it's
not where he's failed. It's where he's bowed
pushed
to
it away.
He's bowed to public opinion.
Well, if he's bowing to public opinion on marijuana legalization, then he would have already legalized marijuana.
Exactly, but that's my point.
But he is using he's breaking a promise.
He could stop enforcing the law.
Sure,
as far
and
as
that's the thing.
But he can't make it legal.
He said when he first was about to get elected that he would not use federal resources to enforce federal law over the states. I mean, it's on video documented. As soon as he gets in office, his drug raids on these California dispensaries are higher than Bush's ever were.
Well, for a while they were down.
Yeah. For a while, right. But here recently, it's been picking up, and to me, that shows that he's pandering to those middle of the road people that are.
I don't know if that
marijuana.
shows anything. I think it shows that his attorney general is doing that. I don't.
Maybe so.
I don't know that he's.
But doesn't he have the power to pick up the phone and say, "Hey,
sure.
This is what I said, and you need to fall in line with that."
Sure. I don't know if that's like in the what he's facing every day.
Right. It's probably not. He's worried about health care. He's worried about naturalizations and things like that. He's worried about fair pay acts for women. That was the first thing he was worried about. The first thing he did was a step toward equality. Mm-hmm. No matter how you look at it, that's probably one of the more notable and noble things that a president has done their first day in office. So, I'm not against Barack Obama in any respect in that way, but that issue right there does show me that at least in some way he's not doing what he could do.
Yeah, but that wasn't the question. The question was where you take Rick Perry doesn't have a position on anything,
right?
And he kind of goes
compare the two
where he goes with the way the weather, whichever way the wind blows,
right.
That's the direction he's going. Mm-hmm. Could you say the same thing about Barack Obama?
I could not say the exact
no,
same
you can't.
thing.
Absolutely,
I don't think so.
The two do not compare.
No, but
in that regard,
it's not comparable. But I would like to see it change for sure. I mean, I think that California is in a lot of trouble financially. I mean, they really are. And I think if they were to just go ahead and say, and there are states, I think 15 or 12 states.
Yeah, Colorado is one of them.
That are on the ballot this November, for total legalization. If you're 21 years and older, you can go to the store and buy marijuana. And I mean, there's
What
no
store are you going to pick that up? Is it like the Home Depot or something?
Dude,
What I mean,
everyone is going to jump on board.
McDonald's, if they are smart.
Come try our cannabis shake.
Yeah, really.
Oh, you
that's
open
not-
one up next to every fucking McDonald's in the
And then there'll be a
state.
McDonald's across the street from
Yeah.
McDonald's.
That's not lettuce on your homestyle burger. That's
It doesn't matter. I'm just telling
McDonald's
you.
now with brownies.
I
Yes.
would open up a Cheetos convenience store. That's all. It's like Cheetos land. That's all we sell. Cheetos and Funyuns. That's it.
And you can medicate those. These places in California are medicating cheese nips and goldfish and
Goldfish.
lemonade, root
Snack
beer.
that smiles back. Hell yeah.
I mean, they medicate everything now. If it has butter in it, it's medicated over there.
Oh,
And
man.
so you're not just smoking it; you're eating it, but you're not going out and
Heaven.
driving a car into the other lane. And
No,
killing
you're
three
not
people.
leaving the
You're not
store.
leaving the house. You don't care about
Just hanging out at
Yeah,
the
it's how do you legislate a morality like that where alcohol kills thousands of people a year and marijuana kills no one?
Well, it's all from racism.
That's
you know,
true. It's all the
It's-
evil
let's
Mexican
stop-
weed.
Well, it's not just that. It's seen as
That's
a
what
black
started,
drug.
though.
No, the ban on it, the ban on marijuana
In the
is
20s?
is due to, well, it's two things. It's one, to protect paper, the
Yeah.
value of timber
Hemp
leases.
is very
Right,
Yeah.
and then the second was because in the 50s, whenever they did the big push against marijuana, reefer madness and all
Anslinger
that.
and all that.
I was like
Was-
the 30s, yeah, but
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think it was
30s.
the 30s.
Reefer Madness was in the 50s.
30s.
That movie was not in the
Yes, it
30s.
was in the 30s.
I think it was
It was in the 30s.
30s or 40s. I don't know. Somebody
Google
look
your
that up.
ass off on that.
I am, dude. That is no way. I've got the clothing that they were wearing pictured. There's no way that's the 30s.
He's placing it by the wardrobe.
By the wardrobe.
Well, sure. Why wouldn't you? The time is completely different.
They can place it by. I'm not going to argue with him, but I think
What does that
it
make
was
Tron a
30s.
documentary?
I want to say it was like 19.
It's not indicative of
mid
our.
to late 30s is what I want to say.
It was something.
Oh my
like that,
God,
because
you're
it was
right.
About the same.
Fuck. What year
It was
was it?
about the same time as Prohibition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Prohibition ended, and shortly thereafter is when
I hate being
Prohibition
wrong.
against marijuana began.
Right.
1936.
And it was
36,
The
yeah.
marijuana
Thank you, Stu.
cigarette in particular was closely associated with jazz music.
Yep.
That's why it was at one time
The
it was
devil
called
weed.
the herbal jazz cigarette. So
That's the only way jazz is palatable.
yeah.
I don't mean to offend any jazz fans out there.
Hey, I like jazz.
I
so
do too.
You
I
just
do too.
offended me.
Jazz is very it's music for musicians. That's the way I've always looked at it because we get kind of bored just.
Do
listening
you
to-
like Pink Floyd?
Oh yeah,
Then
absolutely.
you like jazz.
I do.
Yeah, and I love metal, and there's a lot of jazz and metal with the very free flow rhythms and syncopated stuff, and
There you go. This is Monin, Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers.
So light them if you got them.
can we do that on the air?
I would. So yeah, it was 1936. Damn it, I hate being wrong so fucking bad. I hate that shit. But anyway, it was seen as a black drug too.
Yeah.
And it started paying off dividends because they could not only put the black population in jail, but they could also put them in private jail.
Yes, which is most of I think, if not all of our prisons now are fully private, or most of them, right? I mean,
That was bizarre.
there's somebody opening the door on
I
us?
thought I heard a knock at the door.
Oh.
Do we have special guests on our show?
I don't know. Come on in.
Just all right. They've gone away now.
But this issue of marijuana legalization, I think, is going to be something that we're going to hear about as soon as Barack Obama is reelected.
It'll be
But-
coming for years to come on state level. Mostly, it's going to have to happen on state level a lot. But the states are going to have to push it to.
Well, and we have it in
federal
Washington
level.
D.C.
Yeah.
We have medical marijuana, as far as I know, in Washington D.C.
You can't have it. I mean, the problem is it's being pushed through referendums, and referendums are, to me, one of the worst things you could possibly ever do.
Right.
Because you leave it up to the electorate on what's legal and who has rights, which to me is kind of a mistake.
Right.
Yes, I said that. Democracy is a failure. You just heard it come out of my mouth.
Whoa.
Pure democracy is a failure.
Yeah, I think so too. Why do you think?
I
so?
mean, no.
Why?
No, I don't think
You have to blend
I don't
it.
think the democratic society we live in, the democracy, we have a republic. We've always had a republic, and I think that works. I think it can work for you.
Is it
But
not a blend of the
pure
two, though?
democracy is chaos,
Right. It's not.
and that's why I say you can't have. That's why pure democracy is a failure. That's what I mean when I say democracy is a failure.
But isn't our government basically a blend of both?
No, it is a
republic and
democratic.
democracy?
It is a democratic republic. It is not truly democratic.
Right. It's not truly republic either, because to be a republic, we
yes,
have
it is. Yes, it is.
representation.
You have
And a democracy is all controlled by the people. Right. That's the difference between the two.
but that's what our representation makes the laws.
right.
That's what we call
why-
Congress.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
But it's not a.
why we're a republic.
Uh,
So
I
no,
guess we're more one than the other, obviously.
we are a democratic republic. But it's the representatives are elected democratically, and then they go make the laws. In a pure democracy, the public, the individual citizens would vote on every single law.
Mm-hmm.
And it would suck.
And it would suck.
Yeah.
Badly.
Because that would open up all kinds of issues for voter fraud, I'm imagining, and
Well,
I'll tell you, I'm a huge federalist, man. I just hate this freaking states' rights bullshit.
yeah,
I don't think rights should be
right. We're the United States of America.
rights should not be.
It
a
should
dispute.
be federally.
not geographically. I mean, it shouldn't.
Right. Because we'd be screwed living in this area.
Yeah.
All the legislation would all go one way.
Yeah. It does.
It does. Yeah, exactly. And you're right. We need the government to basically say this is the way it is, and it's panned across the board.
All laws should be subject to judicial review. So everything that's passed the state legislators should automatically go for judicial review before a federal court. So when this guy here in Kuntz rules that should go for federal judicial review, it should have to pass to see that it's legal without the requirement of a plaintiff.
Yeah. Why does there need to be representation for one side when? Yeah, exactly.
Because especially when you're talking about a coercive action or an environment. So when you're looking at Kuntz, there's no reason to believe that anyone would step up ever.
Yeah.
So
Fear of.
Which is interesting because, like, for example, here in the South, like if you any kind of government entity redraws their district map, you know,
Which just happened.
If they redraw, you know, if they redraw districts or constituencies or precincts, anytime they redraw that in the South, it has to go before judicial review to see if it's fair to the minorities.
Right.
And every single time. And why? You're right. Why doesn't that apply to every single law?
I don't know.
In that case,
I don't know.
We do have a
it
broken
should.
system, that's for sure.
Well, there should be a national curriculum.
My point is that's not unprecedented.
Right.
No, I know, but they're talking about that's the Voters' Right Act, and they're talking about overturning that possibly in this next Supreme Court session.
Yeah.
You know, so that's scary in and of itself.
Yeah.
So who do you think right now? Who do you think's going to win the election?
I think it'll be close, but
Wow, go out on a limb there, Will.
I think it'll be Barack Obama.
You think he'll? Oh, okay. So here's the predictions we're gonna make.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Okay, that's fine. Who do you think is gonna win? And who do you think's going to get the popular vote?
Oh, okay. And which one?
Because so who's going to win the electoral vote? Who's going to win the popular? Whoever wins the electoral vote gets in.
Sure.
But who wins the electoral vote? Who wins the popular vote?
For Texas, or are you talking nationally?
Nationally. I don't care shit
Okay.
about Texas.
Nationally, I think Mitt Romney will win the popular vote, but I think that Barack Obama will win the electoral vote.
It's the popular vote will be damn near a dead tie.
Right.
I mean, if it's one or the other, it's going to be barely. I mean, by decimal points.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
By decimal points, I think.
I think
the electoral vote. Barack Obama wins the electoral vote.
I think Barack wins both.
Yeah.
You think so?
The electoral vote and the popular vote. I'm going on a whim and saying I'm scared shitless.
Yeah.
That he's not going to win.
Well, let me put it this way. Despite all the rest of it.
Baldrick is pissed that I said that. He does not want Brock to lose.
Yeah. He who wins Ohio wins the election.
Well, yeah. But here's my thinking on the subject. I think he wins the popular vote. I think the youth vote is underrepresented in the polls. Mm-hmm. I think the youth vote is more inspired than they're giving them credit for. Mm-hmm. They're not. It's certainly not at the wind isn't at his back like it was in 2008. But I think there's more than what they're being represented
absolutely.
in the polls.
I also think that minority voters are underrepresented.
Yes, I think they are as well.
I think because I've read some.
I know I don't answer the phone whenever I don't recognize the number.
I know pollsters actually use that type of distinction because what they're calling likely voters, they're determining arbitrarily that minorities and young people aren't as excited about this election, so therefore they're not considering them as much likely.
And they're basing it off of prior voting history.
Right.
And their statement of whether or not they're interested in the election or not. I think that Romney is overrepresented in that regard because there are people out there. I don't know a single Republican that's excited about Romney.
No.
Not a single one. But I keep hearing about this enthusiasm gap.
No. Now, to be fair to the pollsters, they're giving themselves considerable margins of error this time. So they're giving them. Well, I say consider. They're giving themselves about 5 points margin of error. Usually it's 3. So
right. I'm following the 538 blog. That's the one I watch. Nate Silver. I hope he's a poker player. Yeah. So he knows odds. He knows numbers.
And he was dead on last time too.
He was off. He under predicted him by like 3 or 4 electoral votes. Something like that.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So. No,
especially when the polls didn't have Obama anywhere close to that except for Nate.
Yeah.
So.
I think that the Republican camp in general has disenfranchised a lot of their younger.
Well,
more logical.
By now they should have disenfranchised every living person.
Except for straight white men.
Straight white men who are
rich. Straight white men who
that's right.
should have gone. Yeah,
rich straight white Christian men.
Even if person with a conscience should have already said, "Okay, I'm not on board with this."
Yeah, nothing. And that's another reason why.
What do you mean?
I threw out even who the person was on this vote, and I voted against the Republican in every case that I could. Because even though they aren't the Todd Aikens and these guys saying these things about women and rape and all this stuff. When you get to the point where that party's allowing those kind of people in there, you got to raise some questions. They agree with it. And they deep down know it's right because they have their evangelical beliefs and everything they do is based on those. So
what about let's rip on women for a bit.
Yeah.
Let's do that. What the fuck? What group of women? Why on earth is Mitt Romney even close to Obama with the women vote? I told Linda the other day, I said, honestly, women deserve what they get. At this point, they deserve what they get. If they elect Mitt Romney, I don't want to hear any complaining and bitching and moaning about the fact that you don't have access to birth control, you don't have access to family planning resources or any of that stuff, and that convictions and rape go down because, well, now let's legalize it because you can't argue against legalizing it because if God intended on the woman to get pregnant via rape, then he intended the fucking rape. Yeah. So you've by the same logic, you've legalized rape when you use that to ban abortion. So don't gripe at me because of the number of rape convictions are down under a Republican rule. I don't want to hear it because you're the one that's voting that way. And we tell you that there's this attack on women and you ignore it.
Yeah, and then they try to turn it around and say that the Democrats are attacking women. And when you ask how, they have.
Well, because you're giving them the opportunity to terminate a pregnancy. And that's an attack on women somehow.
Yeah, it's an attack on women.
Whatever.
To belittle them in the way that they have, and say that a woman who gets raped it was her fault. Really, You know, I mean,
well, it was just God's will, man.
Yeah,
God's will.
That's what it is.
and it was I don't know if
God loves rape,
the
and
guy-
I'm tired of hearing that the pundits on TV talk about how God does not like
God
rape.
does like rape.
He
actually.
loves rape.
Oh, God's
Biblically,
he's
scripturally,
he's a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an absolute fan of it and tells you how to go about doing it.
Well, yeah, he tells you, what's legal in terms of rape, but
Yeah.
also many times commanded Israeli troops to take virgins and
Yeah.
have at them.
Yep.
Even when there weren't enough virgins in the villages they were raiding, they went and picked up some more virgins.
And that's okay.
But
That's
that's
all right.
fine because
Yeah.
they needed
spoils of war.
They needed a little rape action. They were feeling all rapey and didn't.
And
have
then in other scriptures, he says that he will bring men to ravish your women.
Yep.
So,
Yes.
so God will enable rape
Yes, he's fine with that.
God is
in
an
front of
enabler.
you too. By the way, he says he'll do it in front of you because he knows
rape
that's
is
the
only
worst way
rape
to do
is
it.
really only illegal according to God in terms of if a married woman is raped.
That's right. Everything else is
Everything else,
justifiable.
if you rape a married woman, and of course it's all on her too. If she's in town and doesn't make a noise, doesn't alert anyone else, then she's eligible for the death penalty.
Yeah.
Actually, she's. It's determined that she is guilty.
God loves
if she's raped in
misogyny.
town and never, even if she's not able to scream out and say "help me," then she's eligible for the death penalty.
Yeah. Well, the stoning penalty.
Stoning penalty. Yeah. Well, that's death. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different than
Well,
injection.
it's not lethal injection.
Yeah.
No, it's getting rocks thrown at your head for a couple
until
of
you,
solid
until
hours.
you die of blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
And it's gruesome and horrific.
And
And anybody guilty of stoning anyone, I believe, should also be stoned in a much better way.
eye for an
I
eye.
don't know. I can't get behind the I hate rape so
yeah.
bad. I want to have them have to experience rape.
Rape, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
You
that
know
is
you
a
don't.
biblical principle. Like he said, eye for an eye, and that's how a lot of religious people believe. And you hear them, like,
Yeah.
oh, well, he was accused of raping this child. Kill him.
Yeah.
Not he was convicted. There was overwhelming
Right,
evidence that he
right.
did it. Some kid said he did. Kill him.
Yep.
Hang him.
Yep.
And then they get like 13 likes on that shit. That pisses me off
Yeah.
because there's no way to tell if they actually
And then
did
guess
it.
what? When you come out in defense of the accused,
Oh man.
then you like raping children.
You're an enabler, yeah. You're a child rapist
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but just because we like civility, we like civilization.
and justice.
Yeah,
A sense of
against-
justice.
Justice is not retribution, by the way, for those.
That's
of you
right.
who
That's
are
true. That's very
questioning
true.
that. Those are two different things. Maybe you should study up on that. All right, I think
All
we're
right.
gonna have to wrap it up.
We do need to wrap it up. Thank you guys for tuning in, and hopefully we can get you guys to Skype in more. I know some of y'all are nervous about being on air, but it ain't no thing. So
Yeah, so give it a shot.
So
We'll be back soon. Not exactly sure when, but soon. So,
maybe next week.
maybe
hopefully.
next week, hopefully. So keep listening, and thanks, everybody. Good night.